Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I don't know
Very
how
nice
it is that you
to
got
see
on before me. I thought the meeting would only start if I was in it, but obviously not.
you. I must be meant to be here.
Oh, and Shailene is here. That's very nice. Hello, Shailene.
Hi there.
Hi. So I've invited a few people to join us, just to give permission that this is going to be recorded. Is that okay with you, Lara?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And so I'll just give everybody like a few minutes just to arrive. Shailene, can I mute you? Do you mind? Because there's a bit of feedback in your background. Thanks, that's perfect. Oh, nice to see you, my friend. Your hair's a little bit shorter, like mine. I also chopped mine.
Yeah, just my dreadlocks stayed long.
Oh, the dreadlocks stayed. Oh, yeah, no, I was like, off with the old. It's quite fun. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it feels great.
It just went shorter and shorter and shorter, and eventually, like, that's kind of okay for now. So it's 6 o'clock, and I just think we may as well jump on the dragon, since there's been so many dragons around, and ride. So I'm going to introduce my fantastic, incredible friend, Lauren Amy Hofmeyr, who has many names, many magics to her, and so I'll try my best. So poet, singer, voice alchemist, sangoma. What is a sangoma teacher? That's another name, eh? But like a teacher of sangomas.
Well, I guess you could say I'm Mpande Gogo. I have Mpande. It means the roots, carrying the roots of the tradition. And I'm a grandmother as well, because one of my children has got Mpande also. So
Oh,
I'm a
wow.
grandmother in the tradition.
Oh, amazing. And then a cacao cucina.
Well. Yeah,
cacao cucina. And what else is there? There's so many. Tantrika, Dakini, clown.
I've been a clown and a stilt walker and fire dancer. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
What a weave, hey? A mum, a lover, a mother, a friend. So many things, a teacher, a healer. Anyway, so I've known you, La, for a long time, and I can't even remember quite how we met. It was many moons, hey? Trying to remember where it all started, but anyway, we've had quite a few journeys together. But I remember something like 10 years ago, when we were experimenting with the labyrinth in 4 ways. Some of the labyrinth and the sound technologies and dance, and some of my technologies that I bring, and constellations and all sorts of fantastic things. So we've collaborated in some fun ways when we've had the ability to, when we've managed to meet. And it's always so beautiful to, just to let those energies play a little bit and be together. So that's always been nice, but it's been a long time, and I know your work has gone ahead really quite far since I've last seen you. So one of the things, there's a couple of things that kind of brought me to thinking it would be nice to chat to you. The one is obviously your new series on the crown attunement and the earth activation work. So I'd love to hear about that a little bit. And then maybe we can also just touch on, if you feel like giving us a little bit of a summary about the labyrinth technologies and the sound work. And I don't know if they're tying in together.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah. And there's two other people that were very sad not to be here on this call today, but they'll definitely come in on another call. Maybe we can do a little follow-up in January or something, who are also working with voice alchemy and sound in can't remember where she is. She's in Northern Europe. I think, is it Belgium or something like that? So, but anyway, we can come to that. I'd just love to hear anything in particular that you want to tell us about where you're at or what brought you to this Crown Attunement series.
Crowning Series.
Crowning Series.
Yeah, at the end of last year, which would have been 2022, probably a little bit before now, a year ago, then I received instructive, you know how one gets instructives, like a document, white paper or whatever, asking me to sound through following the flow of the rainbow labyrinth with the earth, together with the earth. So to work with chakra points on the planet. And they said to me, it's going to be all over the place, you know, out in nature. I must broadcast, I must make it globally accessible, I must record the sound properly, you know, and the purpose was for to awaken and align and inspire and assist the remembering of the divine child frequencies, in essence, us being divine children, divinity process. So that was the first calling, and they said I must do a broadcast like once a month to give time for integration in between, and I must follow the path of the labyrinth, which is 7 tiers in and then 1 in the center and 7 tiers out. And so I was like, yay, that's fabulous. And then they said, so I said, when do I begin? And they said, when the tech team arrives, then begin. So I said, okay, cool. That's good.
Who's your tech? Who's your tech?
I'm not a tech team person. My tech guy, his name's Joshua.
Okay.
Josh, he's a young man I met years ago when I was working in a health shop. And he came in and was interested in what I was up to and wanted to learn stuff. And we got friends. And
okay, wonderful.
He was traveling for a few years and then he's back now. So that's great. Yeah, and then I got sick for months and months this year. I was totally man down. I've had a very big rewriting process, a lot of unplugging, and just aligning with my own purpose, you know, more once again. And so yeah, and then I got not sick anymore and began, and it was like, you know, when you've had this long race to run, and then in the last 100 meters you just got to pull out all the stops and go because the finish line's right there. And my finish line, they said, okay, now you need to get to the center of the labyrinth by the solstice. And wow. So I've done the first 7 recordings, 7, 8, 9, because also after I was sick, then I was pointed towards the map of the Cape Peninsula. I'm in Cape Town in South Africa. The mountain ranges here have got a chakra system mapped out in them that was done by Dean Laprini years ago when he was in his dreaming time walk. And so I got in touch with him and he gave me permission, and he really helped a lot along the way, just with some of the points are in quite obscure places and he helped to direct me to them.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had about a month of intensive waking up at 4 a.m. and getting out there, you know, while it was still dark, and so that the light was good, and and then all of the resistance coming up, because using my voice to support shift and particularly to work with planetary geometries and in a very kind of interplanetary, intergalactical, everything's working together way is specifically it's probably kind of the most of what I am in a soul being way. And I've had some very scary experiences in other lifetimes because of it. So I had, even with everything all go in my psyche, in my heart, in my mind, in real time now, I had a huge amount of fear and resistance coming up from my subconscious that
Wow.
when you see me, when you see when we get to the walk of the labyrinth, after the solar plexus, which is the first tier of the labyrinth, then and it's where you set your intention, and it's where I sung open the intention fields, which became more expanded once I actually began the process about a month and a half ago. Then I just was hit by such resistance. I even got manifested a swollen eye. So but I couldn't stop going because they kept saying, like you're the only thing that's going to actually stop the resistance is by you doing this process.
Amazing. Wow.
You'll see in the videos, the first 5 tiers of the labyrinth or so, I've got a swollen eye.
Oh.
So it's been a real process. They said to me after I got past the being sick bit this year, they said I must go to the Mother Stone in Llandudno, which is this big rock there that I know well, and ask permission. She said, I can speak for everybody. I'm the Mother Stone. So I asked permission of the Cape Peninsula Mountains to placebo for humanity.
Wow.
And not only humanity, for also the plants and the animals of the oceans and the skies and the land and the beyond, to placebo. And the mountains gave me a very clear yes. Even the ocean splashed me all the way up there. I don't know if you remember how high up from the ocean the Mother Stone
Yeah,
is.
very high.
Like a full raining of ocean water, which is a very big yes. And I was given further instructions and reasons, purposes why as well, to really, that this series and this work that I'm doing, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, is really about helping to make the transition easier. So there's no rescuing going on. It's all about easing transition.
Yeah.
And
it's like laying a grid, isn't it, really, with your voice?
Not really. No, not really. I'm not laying a grid with a voice. What we're doing here is with each nature portal so I was told to work like, I'm also trained in a technology called Biofield training. And one of the first things we do in that practice, which is something I've kept because a lot of the way that I work with the tuning forks has changed, as happens. So
just tell us a little bit about the Biofield and what that is. I mean, I know because I met, what is her name?
Kimberly.
Yeah, at Michael Tellinger's Ubuntu
Magdalene,
festival. Yeah. But just for those that might not know what it is, what the technology is.
The Biofield is not, it's something that's being studied by people all over the world now. It's, I suppose, in more esoteric ways, people would call it the aura. It's the metaphysical aspect of our bodies,
Mm.
and it exists around everything, and mostly people can't see it, and then some people can, and manifest in the biofield is all of the information pertaining to that cell or that being, that plant, that animal, that mountain.
It's a lot like the
Yeah.
morphogenic field
Yeah.
idea in the constellation. It's got
Very
coded
much so.
information, and everything has, is emanating its codes in a sense of
Yeah.
consciousness.
Yeah, and all of the ancestral information for that physicality that the biofield that's being looked at is in there too. So, like nowadays, most of the work that I do with ancestors is with my voice and with tuning forks. I don't
Wow,
use
what an
hardly any of
interesting
the.
progression you've had. My goodness.
Yeah,
Hey?
it's wonderful. It's really great.
Wow.
It means that I can work from anywhere with anything, and I can work with huge numbers of people at the same time. That's my first training, was working with very large crowds, on stilts or whatever. So yeah, it's a very liberated form. And what we do first when we work with the biofield following that technology, which is I'm super grateful for, Eileen was her name, is we open the Earth Star Chakra and the Sun Star Chakra, because what tends to happen, what they've noticed in the study of the biofield, is that because generally we don't feel terribly safe, or some parts of us or don't feel terribly safe in every moment, our Earth Star chakras and our Sun Star chakras kind of tuck themselves in, and they've got home places to live. So the first thing we do is we find them and we help them move out to the home place, and then from that home place, so from the Earth Star, whose home place is roughly in the human body, if you were to kneel on the ground and then imagine your legs straightening out underneath you, then you'd be standing in the Earth Star chakra roughly. And the Sun Star is where your hands come together, you're piercing it roughly. It's a little bit different with everybody. And as you grow, then also it gets a little bit more distance as well. And then once it's in its home space and it's settled in its home space, then and connected to the center of the earth with Earth Star, or to Great Central Sun through a passageway of suns, which I started really recognizing a shift in when Corona happened. I started noticing people's pathway of suns shifting and changing quite substantially. Then we start to flow through the toroidal, either from the Earth Star flowing up through the center and out through the outer ancestral field, and talking to the whole ancestral field, and just speaking to that, clearing the space, and then also from the Sun Star
And the
around.
ancestral field, it would include nature spirits and all of that, right? Wouldn't just be.
It depends on how each individual is working, because of course energy flows where attention goes. So with me, I work with everything, and I also work not just with this incarnation, but also with every incarnation of the soul. So that means also the ancestors of the other incarnations too, whatever soul it is that we're focusing together with. And in this attunement series, the Crowning Series, with the help of the rock, the mountains, and rock is so dense. It's like super, super intelligent, with vast memory, and very, very, very connected to the many suns, and all of it's just wonderful, a wonderful beingness to work with. Then it was also speaking with, as I said before, the the consciousnesses and expanded fields and micro fields as well of all of the plants and the animals and the ocean creatures, and as I said, like not only humanity but all of the children of the earth herself in so many ways, you know. So yeah, first we opened the Earth Star and the Sun Star. I'm going to be releasing the Sun Star opening this week. The first two are just 2 weeks apart, and then from there we're going into monthly. Yeah.
So are you is it just a gifting process, or is it how are people coming onto a course, or are you taking people along with you? How can people join in on the journey?
Well, I have started a Patreon account. And I very much hope that people join that to support, because I am self-funding. It's the kind of thing, you know, if I don't do this, then I'm probably going to get sick again. So I have to do it, you know. And in fact, I feel like I've been getting ready for a very long time. And yeah, I mean, I do have training about labyrinth, and I have training about voice work and about centering yourself inside the wheel. All of the Kuchina training is all of that. And I'm busy rewriting that into my website so that
what is your
it can be more
website, La?
easily
I
worked
wasn't sure what it was. I was sort of looking for the best place for people to find you.
Yeah, medicinmuse.coza.
Okay.
Medicinmuse.coza. I'm just going with Medicine Muse because then I don't have to figure out which name to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So basically it's 17 months worth of work, did you say?
Yeah.
And you're going to be releasing what, like one piece a month or one every 2 months? And
one a month.
Yeah. Wow.
One a month. And then for people who do join me on Patreon, I'm going to offer a tuning through Zoom, a group tuning once a month as well, to support the upshift process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know, as I said to you, there's a couple of people that are doing the vocal alchemy work in different places and are wanting to kind of link in. And I have suggested that they just get hold of you directly initially to have maybe some personal sessions or whatever. Yeah, and then so we must just try, sort of, for those that want to, I've been seeing so many dragons, honestly. It just feels like we're in this massive this dragon alignment. It feels like this. So for people that want to follow you like that with the sound into the portals and the activations and stuff like that, it would be, if they want to like collaborate, it would be to just kind of follow you via Patreon.
Yeah.
And then like let it unfold, essentially, what the collaboration.
What I've been told is for the Labyrinth series, the specific, and as I said, like at the moment I'm in the center. You know, I got to the center the morning of the solstice. I sang the throat. It was the most challenging of all of them to sing. Not surprisingly.
Sure. No, especially since none of us are allowed to speak at the moment.
Sure.
So we all shut down. No wonder it was so hard.
It's quite amazing.
Oh.
And the center is silent. And at some point, I know that I'm going to draw a labyrinth on the beach. And we'll film that as part of the center part. But and I don't know when I'm going to start walking out again, and I don't know if it's going to have to be super quick like this last one. I just had to go, move the energy, go with it. And so I don't know how we have to get there. But what I have been told is and for the Labyrinth series, sorry, I have to specifically do that in terms of the filming process. It's just I've got to do that on my own. but I have to do lots of other things. There's, I just have to keep at it. Like I know the stones in Mpumalanga in Kanyezi are calling me strong. I must go there as soon as I can.
They were calling me so strongly for this call that I almost drove there just for this call. Yeah. They're like, okay. Hello.
Yeah. So and I've got to take my camera guy, and I've got to go up there, and I'm invited to invite others to collaborate in the sound space as well, whenever it is inside of the synchronicities, with individual things. The one in Nkanyezi, it seems to be very much specifically around the brain.
So Nkanyezi is Adam's calendar for those that are watching this video. Adam's calendar in Mpumalanga is known as Nkanyezi, which means stones from the stars, right?
Yeah. Yes. Luminous light beings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So you're going to go there and do some collaboration.
Yeah. Let's see how it all unfolds. The other part of this whole big project that I've been asked to do, which is also very much about creating or co-creating with the land, sound pieces tools that are kind of very multi-layered, whether there's layering of sound or not, like literally layering of voices, that can go forward in song form for the children for the future kind of thing. And so I've been asked to also find pieces from each one of the attunements that I do, the long songs, and take it out and build up on them, so to layer sound and maybe even words happen, I don't know, and make shorter pieces that are kind of more mainstream accessible too, that bring the frequencies of that place and that healing song in kind of like in a nutshell type of thing, for people who don't do like long meditations, with sound, and who think that that's weird, to make cool stuff as well, so
it just feels to me, because it's like such a long journey, that it's really to find as many access points for people to join and do something as possible. Like entry, how to enter in to participate.
Absolutely, to remix the sound, to put poetry to it, to like all it's a already my film guy Josh, he's also he likes to make beats, and he likes to work with this rap artist from Ocean View, Khoisan guy. So he wants to make some, like, what's it called?
Yeah, that would be a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
Shailene, I know that we're just talking, but you can jump in at any point if you've got anything you want to say or ask. Okay.
Yeah, and my son wants to make psychedelic trance using,
pieces of the sound into the land. Yeah, that'll be amazing. It feels like a sort of like a train of sound and activation to jump in on, and follow through in whatever way. So I'm just wondering what else we can if there's anything else that can be summarized. Can you summarize, like, briefly the labyrinth and the sound at all? I mean, you were just saying, you were just talking about Nkanyezi is very much about the brain. I think you were just about to say that. So the shape of the labyrinth is like the brain, right?
In some ways it is. It's also called the womb. Many people refer to it as a womb. The Nkanyezi with the brain is just basically because I've just been in my listening process, then Nkanyezi's been shouting, and then last week or so, or the week before, I started to get a very clear, there's a particular, it might be three healing song spaces. I'm not sure if Nkanyezi is the only one yet, but to do specifically work inside the human brain, because there's with the genetics stuff that's going on with COVID, and also with the vaccine, with the fear generation, all of that stuff. I've noticed that quite a bit of damage to the membrane between the hemispheres. So in the brain, and then also in the heart brain, and in the hara, in the solar plexus, there's damage.
The three brains.
Yeah, so in the stomach brain, yeah. So to do a series of songs, healing songs for that. And Nkanyezi said, yes, I'm one of the places. I said, okay, cool.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. So so that's what I mean. Not specifically that it's a brain point, but that you know, what I know of Nkanyezi, what the stones said to me all those years ago, was that this is a place which is aligned to, that we can use our voices to help to reprogram the
coding,
unifying field, the unifying field of the planet. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I
know it's been years and years of doing that, for sure.
So that's the labyrinth. That's that's the pathway of it, the rainbow labyrinth that I work with. For me, I've been working with it since I was about 21. It's like 23 years now. And it's the oldest labyrinth that we know about. It's the Celtic labyrinth, it's the Hopi labyrinth. It's inscribed in the pyramids of Giza as well, on one of the walls. So it's found all over the place. The 7 tiers do directly connect with the rainbow frequencies, which is one of the systems of the human chakra field that gets worked with. It's the visible light spectrum that we see, you know, and then it's a very simple system. And I find that the simple systems are often the most dynamic to work with, and accessible in their intelligence. It's complex intelligence that expresses simply. So, you know, because I work with a very, very simple sound system. There's many different sound systems that connect with the different chakras. The one that I work with is the Tibetan rainbow meditation, which is super simple. They're just single letter sounds, if you like. And the pathway that you follow when you are moving through the rainbow labyrinth isn't base to crown or crown to base. When you notice it, and you can totally Google rainbow labyrinth or 7-tiered labyrinth and have a look at pictures and walk with your finger along the path, and you'll see how it moves through the chakra system. And then it's nice to contemplate what each point in the body is connected to. So the solar plexus is very much the seat of the will, that connects the will inside the being with the highest will of the being, with the highest blueprint, even, if you like. It's the inner sun, you know. So it's a very good place to set intentions, to align your will with your highest will. And then it moves into the hara, or the seat of creativity, of co-creation, the waters of the womb, if you like. And then it moves into the base, into the roots, into the groundedness. It travels out in the 4 directions, the sound and the system that I use. So and then into the heart. And in the Cape Peninsula, Dean mapped out the lower heart, or the roots of the heart, and the crown of the heart.
Oh wow, where is that? Where are those parts?
The roots of the heart are in Ascension Cave.
Oh wow, I was going to say.
The crown is in the elephant's eye.
I don't know where that is.
The crown was the second most. The crown of the heart was the second most difficult song point that this was the heart, the crown, and the voice, the throat. The crown of the eye, of the heart. The crown itself was like amazingly open.
Was it open?
Yeah.
I think we've really already like largely ascended. We're just up against so much blocking, honestly, like the resistance to try and stop us from moving
Belief structures.
past,
You know, the most of what I'm noticing is belief structures that we have intrinsically in our own geometries. And some of those belief structures are held in place by ancestral field, multidimensionally, not only to this body, but to others as well, and other soul incarnational experiences. So some of the belief structures root very, very deeply. And then also that we reinforce and even take on new in this incarnational experience. So the geometries that our mind creates. In fact, I remember when I was singing the mind, the third eye, then I had to, it was very simple. They said, you're going to be recording layers and layers over this. There's more to come in here, but while you're sitting here now, it needs to just be simple, you know. So that was interesting. But yeah, that's the primary resistance is coming from inside us. Actually, it's not coming from outside of us at all. What we see outside of us is really a reflection of the fear and the fear-based control, safety, creation of protection, self-protection that comes from inside our own beings, from the experiences of our soul, from the experiences of our bodies, which is also our ancestors. You know, that's what I'm seeing. There's nothing stronger than that we can do than liberating ourselves.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Once you have harnessed your own true, force, the force within, there's really, you just move the structures into place, and they just, reality forms around that. I have been particularly seeing, I've just had so many dragons coming into my vision, so all the time, in the skies, every night. There's just a lot of information about dragons at the moment. And someone else came to one of my talks or one of my groups recently, and she was saying that there's a very great dragon that's just awoken in Africa, and her name is Silka, Black Dragon of Africa.
One.
Yeah, and apparently she's very important for the activation of Africa. And I know that from my own personal experience of the dragon energies is that it's actually the returning home of the energy from the base back to the void. It's like, so for me, the dragon is holding the codes all the way from the void down to the ground and then back up like that again. So when we see the dragon, it's really a kind of ascension symbol. That's my understanding of it. And the experience of the Kundalini and the clearing out of all the codes and all the old beliefs and that kind of thing, all the wounds. So is what happens when we're going through an ascension process. So I don't know what you've done some work with the dragons. I know we did I joined in on a collaboration you were doing with many people with dragon energies and helping to clear pathways for the children. I don't know if you want to comment on that at all, like just current dragon collaborations or just anything that you want to say on that.
When I was singing the series, so far. What I recall is that after I did open the Earth Star, when I opened the Sun Star, when it was fully open and everything was flowing, and I was connected in with the Earth Star at the same time, and I had to work from Signal Hill for that, to open it at a distance. These two dragons flew, one from the Earth Star, one from the Sun Star, doing this
amazing, wow,
dance. Yeah, beautiful dance. Mostly who I've been seeing of the big bees has been Ruma, who's one of the big golden winged lions. I've been seeing him a lot.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of winged lions as well in the sky.
Yeah.
A lot of, interesting. I'll show you a few of my pictures before we end, just to kind of keep it into the conversation, because it's really been extraordinary.
And then I've been working a lot with Tiamat. Tiamat, when we were doing the child series, Dragon for the, I really loved that. That was great. I like working in groups like that. That's when Tiamat started to come and let me ride her. And but I did see a black dragon recently. I can't remember if it was actually when I was in the Sun Star or another time, but I did see one recently. That was a new one, so maybe that was that one.
Okay, so I mean, there's so many different places to go, but I don't think I think maybe we should keep this contained within sort of one topic, and then maybe we can open it up into other topics. Maybe we'll try and do our best to follow your journey and support you, and see if we can.
You wanted to talk about the voicing a little bit.
Yeah.
If I've got anything to speak to there. The most important thing to do when voicing, that I find, is to get out of the way. So it's like root and shoot like a tree, be at the center of the wheel that you are, the spheres, and an open voice. When I'm voicing, then my imagination and the power of my imagination, my sight, ability to see, is also fully open. In fact, it opens much more when I'm voicing. That's it's the biggest that it ever opens, is when I'm voicing.
Wow.
It's not necessary to know a particular language, when you're doing the work. Many people sing in tongues, what you call it is light language. Yeah. I don't so much do that. I work with sounds. I work with every word that I know, and I break them down into their individual sounds. And for me, the language that I work with is a language that's more about directions. And because the different sounds move in different ways, and I know that language. I know the language of how the sound moves, and the shapes that it creates, and the colors that it works with, and then the words themselves that come in whatever language they come, because, as I say, wherever I go, I pick up words, and they're real words, and oftentimes when I'm singing them in an environment where, like this one, then I will break down those words into their sounds specifically, so they don't activate the mind, the thinking mind. But the energy of that word is still coming through. So, for example, I work with lots of different plants as well. So if rose, for example, pops up in my vision, then what I know, okay, I must amplify what she's doing. So I sing her into the space, and she works in a very particular way that I've come to know. So work with what you know, work with
Beautiful.
everything that you've got in your voicing, work without limitation, work without limitation. For me, I'm not one of those witches who likes to follow recipes. My only recipe is to open space and close space at the end and work for the highest good of all only, but aside from that, it's a process of listening. So if you want to use your voice, the biggest thing to practice is listening. And that's listening with all of your senses. It even means listening with how you hold your body, with which direction you're turning to face, with what posture, whether you're standing or sitting or kneeling or lying down even, depending on what you're doing. It could even go as far as with what you're going to put onto your body, what clothes you're going to wear, or what you want to hold in your hand, or whether there's an instrument that wants to be played as well. It's sound is and can be either very limiting or very unlimited. And when we work with a full open listening body, then it really is very unlimited. There's so bare feet is a good idea, naked feet on the ground.
So there's a group there's two people in the group that will connect with you, but they want to do some work specifically around clearing the banking systems, the old energies, through voice, through sounding, sort of into, it's coming to them. It's kind of they're getting a download. And I sort of thought, they will connect with you. But I guess when you lay a labyrinth down, you always lay it in a particular direction with an intention, and that all has meaning, right, in terms of what you want to do.
Yeah, but it's not set. Not the way I work. I work in a wheel, and I work with the 12+1 geometries. So the 12 pointed wheel. And whenever I'm going to draw a specific labyrinth, then I first ask, where does it want to be opened from? Once I remember it was actually during the dry times. That's a drought in Cape Town, when we had drought. I remember a few years ago. And I was at a holistic fair, and I was drawing a labyrinth on the car park there with chalks, with colors. And always first I draw 12 hearts around the space and call in the wheel. And there's a particular way that I do it. This stuff I also teach. And then I said, where must I open it from? And it said from the place of the keeper, which is the north-northwest it would be, of the water spirits. So then I opened it from the water spirits keeper. And then people walked to the labyrinth, and then it started to rain.
Oh, beautiful.
It's really if you really want to get to know the labyrinth, then I do recommend getting to know that 12-point wheel, the 12+1 geometries. And I do recommend drawing and walking the labyrinth. If you've got a beach near you, that's ideal. Or otherwise with chalk or with salt, because salt clears space. It doesn't leave lines on the ground like lavender or ash or many other things. Or with chalk, to draw a fresh one every day for at least 3 weeks, so that you can really get to feel and notice the difference between opening it here or opening it here, and you really get to what started happening for me is I started to observe the turning of the spheres, because the labyrinth is a three-dimensional structure. Yeah, it's multi-dimensional, of course, but
It is.
it has spheres that turn, and so does the wheel. And so I started noticing those movements through working it and walking it again and again and again. It's
Yeah,
a
and
very
especially when
potent
you're moving through, you know,
with
a
sound as well.
dimension, and then you dimensionalizing it, and then with sound. I mean, of course, it would become like a sort of like a time travel mechanism. You know?
Yeah.
We don't need UFOs and portals. We just need Lauren's, you know, rainbow labyrinth, one each, and a place to land.
Not mine, huh?
Well, that's not yours, but you know, I'm just we'll learn the technology, because it's always the simple technologies that we can fall back on. It's not that difficult. It's like what I say to people with the constellations work, you know, you want to know something, just focus on it, and you know, just you'll know it. You just have to become present with it. I mean, every single one of us is a remote viewer, a remote influencer, a shaper, you know, a weaver.
Yeah, I think really the best way to receive the transmission from a thing is to not Google it until you've received it. You know.
Not Google. Where would we be?
Be with that thing for like a few weeks, you know. 21 days is a good one because of the neural pathway thing, you know. It's a good time to build a new habit or break an old one.
Yeah, there's so much to learn.
Sometimes there's things to know, like to learn to draw the thing. You know, it's quite challenging to work with a labyrinth if you can't draw one. So that takes some people quite a bit of practice. It's a nice doodle, you know. Same with the 12+1 geometries, to practice many different ways of setting up the space. You know, there's some knowledge involved, but it's actually really simple. It just takes practice.
So La, if we want to kind of come on board with you a little bit, are you going to do courses again this year, or
not this year? We are nearly at the end of this year.
Okay, next coming year, 2022.
Yeah, you know, I'm very much hoping. I'm busy moving my website. I've had some website stuff go on. I'm moving it from Wix to WordPress so that I can use a educational plugin that I want to use. And I'm hoping that it's all going to be fluid and flowing by the end of January, because, you know, I know that I've got a growing list of people who keep emailing me to say, I want to do this training. And
I definitely want to do some work with you this year. I definitely want to do some voice work, because I can feel that I'm moving my energy and my voice. It's going to help me in many ways, you know. It's like just really needing to activate through sound. So I'd love to. So whenever you can, let us know when you're ready, and I will put out the word to many people who I'm sure would be love to take. Will it be a year-long course or 6 months, or what are you looking at?
I'm restructuring. So, you know, I was told to make everything as accessible as possible. So I'm taking my originally 6 to 9 month process and breaking it down into aspects, and so that you can do one aspect at a time and move through them as modules, you know, and pay for one at a time and move through them in your own order, you know. And also then I'm going to build more, which I'm excited about, go deeper into the voice part, go deeper into, you know, the different aspects, serving ceremony part, particularly the voice part. I'm looking forward to building more pieces, more modules. But yeah, so it's, I'm not going to have it on a timeline. You know, you move through it in your own timing. And then if you want to come closer, then join me on Patreon. And you know,
What's your Patreon address? Have you got one? Have you got one yet?
I do, and it is written down in the description from the Earth Star Chakra.
Okay, great.
At the moment, my website hasn't been updated with that information. I need to do a proper update, because although it does tell a lot about me and my past, it's not talking much about what I'm up to now. So
yeah, and remember that little link that I told you about, the coffee code -fi, and it's a fantastic, you can post videos and pictures and photographs and little funding. You can make funding targets and say what your project is, and people can contribute as they feel, really easily, small amounts, big amounts. It's quite an amazing little site. So.
Yeah, I'll have a look at it as well. What I'm attempting to do is weave together different platforms so that I don't have to spend my life on social media, because
Absolutely.
I've managed to get myself entirely off of it.
Yeah.
And then when I started with the Crowning Series, when I started with the release process, and my team said, back onto Instagram with you. So I'm like, okay.
Who's on your team? Are we allowed to know?
My team is like in total shift at the moment. Yeah. At the moment, the ones who are speaking strongest to me are the mountains and the plants that I've dieted. You know, the other big bees, I don't even want to name at the moment, because I've been having a full team change. So everything hasn't settled yet. I'm in the middle. I'm in the center at the moment.
You're in the void.
Yeah,
you're busy restructuring.
Yeah,
it's a good time to let go of the past, you know.
Yeah, it's a time for listening.
Yeah,
I'm in a big listening time now, and definitely I'm on my team.
You're there. That's good.
Probably more than ever before.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. And so when you sing your way out of your labyrinth, do you sing intentions back into creation? Do you sing a creation when you exit your labyrinth?
Every time I sing, I'm singing a creation.
Even when you're entering?
Yeah, I'm singing what is arising in that moment, in that time, in that space. And it reaches across in all directions and through the various veils, and you know, everybody and everything is in play. So each moment is fresh and new. And the pathway does what I've noticed, because I've never done it like a labyrinth work quite like this before. This is a new experience for me too, you know, but what I have noticed is that at some of the points and some of the places, like in the higher heart and in Elephant's Eye, then I had to open up and bring open flow the pathway all the way down to the base chakra again, you see, so the path continues to talk to itself, and you know, as it moves forward, and then on the way out, I mean, what I know from literally walking labyrinth pathways and using my voice while I'm doing that is, oftentimes on the way in, then I'm working with very, very, very simple sound, and on the way out, then all the song starts coming. This has now been a different experience. Here I've had a big mixture of simple sound, or simple multi-layered sound, I suppose you could say, and then also song as such. song without spoken word. Language of sounds.
And the labyrinth is such an ancient initiation into the deeper aspects of the existence of existence. Essentially, it's always been it's symbolized so many things. I know at my school we work with the labyrinth as well, blindfolded, moving through focus, sort of weaving through different aspects, but having to move through, it's actually an initiation into the deeper parts of your mind. So you're moving through the layers of like alchemical layers to the center, where the void sits, where you can create and then move out again from nothing, from no thing materially, out into creation. So it's a beautiful thing to be bringing back to everybody. And I know Adam's calendar was built as a labyrinth by Credo, wasn't it? It was created as a labyrinth initiation ground.
I don't remember exactly that. I know that a lot has changed since it began. That part of the story hasn't come up in my study.
He did. It was an initiation ground, and it continues to be one.
Definitely
you
an
work
initiation
with it.
ground. And labyrinth is very useful technology for initiating. I do know on that when I first went to Nkanyezi, then I was told by my team, there was a particular pathway of entry, and I had to go past it along the bottom and then
up from like the east whatever tree, wasn't it?
I always get confused about what's where when I'm there, but
the two trees, and then you go to the bottom tree and come in
the far side tree, and then I had to, because I know how to walk the labyrinth pathway without there being lines on the ground, so, and whenever I go there, and from the word go, I had to walk and sound to unlock the space, to ready it fully for the work that I do. I had to walk it open, the labyrinth pathway before coming into the mother and father stone in the center there. And then I had a dream after going there the first time, and that the keeper tree where they say the big tall one is buried underneath. So in my dream,
further up, along the ridge,
where you go to greet in the beginning. Then in my dream, then I was going to that tree, and there was that big tall guy, and he said, "Come, you did it exactly right. Now let's go do it again." And so we went there along the path on the bottom, and walked the labyrinth to open the space. It's like a key. Labyrinth is a key,
and that's a stargate, that space, for sure. So it's a very dimensional,
strong,
very strong, very old,
important space. Lots of people go and do lots of things there, and it would be good for us all to really get good at listening, because our voices are powerful. The last thing I can say, maybe it's the last thing I can say about singing the frequencies of the land or of the geometries of anything, really. Like I said, and this speaks also to like the idea of when you're on your way out, are you going to be singing new creation codes in? The answer would be yes, of course, and who knows? Because really the job is to listen to what the space, and knowing that you're entering into that space is an interdimensional portal. And everything ultimately is. Everything is ultimately an interdimensional portal. The human body is a plant.
Absolutely.
The banking system can be viewed as an interdimensional portal. So knowing when you enter into that space, okay, and then this is me, and this is my intention, and this is my commitment, and this is my promise, okay? So knowing and standing centered in that, and then opening to listen and notice what comes up, and then amplifying it, because so for me, the way that I've got my field set, my listening field set, is such that I only see the stuff that's necessary for me to see. You know, so if there's something that, like an obstacle of some sort, that's important for me to see it in order to open the way and ground whatever it is that I'm there to do, the work that I'm there to do, then I will see that obstacle. And if it's not my work, I won't see it because that's not my job. Then I'm getting distracted, you know. I also don't rip things out anymore. I give them the choice to change, to transmute, and help to make that happen. Compassion is one of the biggest gifts that we've got to work with, and our voices is, we can open up beauty way. That's can be really challenging for any being to turn its back on. You know, when compassion is opened and love that's unconditional is opened and offered, it's something that many beings don't know. They don't know that energy, and then when they feel it and they're offered it, then they say, yes, okay, what can we do?
That's true.
You know,
even the reptilian groups are being offered you know, pathways to remember, you know, to remember their original sort of higher intent, because they got so badly you know, lost, that a lot of them are taking the route, the ascension route. Not a lot, and I'm not saying a lot, I don't know that, but I know that a lot of the stronger,
it's happening.
It's happening for sure.
Yeah.
I even saw, I was posting, because I've had so many dragon clouds and this and that, I caught this, I posted a dragon with Kuan Yin on its back, just a photograph of that. And then the next night, I think it was, I'm going to try and find the picture for you. I think it was this dragon with Kuan Yin. Let me just see if I can quickly, which is so beautiful, you know, in terms of just the different kinds of compassion. Let me see if I can share the screen quickly. I'll just show you some of the dragon pictures. Here's my sky phenomena. So that today looks like a little dragon reindeer type thing. I mean, they just, there's like a dragon face. But let me go see the face, the eyes, the nose. Let me just go to some of, this is an interesting one. It looked like a ship, and then there was like this sort of like the being driving the ship sort of emerged in my pictures. It was so interesting. Let me quickly show you some of these original dragon ones. See all these dragon faces and all just in my skies. I'm gonna try and find the Kuan Yin quickly. So it's like, look at these faces. So interesting. This is very much like a witch on a broomstick kind of thing. Look at this. Look at this woman here. And her dragon was huge, and there were other creatures around. Like it looked like a few different, but it took up the whole sky. I promise you I could not capture it. This dragon here, the nose, ears, and this is just the neck, and then the whole body just extended across the whole sky. And this woman looked like she was standing on it. It was amazing. I mean, it's just been, look at these guys here. Look at this one. And then other people, you know, on the same night, sort of capturing from a different location. See these little doggy type.
Thru.
Yeah.
Thru dragons.
Thru.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called? Yeah, and that one would be so different.
Like dog dragons.
A dog dragon, yeah. That one would be so different to like this one. This is for me the head, the nose, eyes. They're all very, you know, there's all sorts of things, like this is one giant face. There's the eyes, nose, but that looks like a lot like a lion, like a lion face. Anyway, just
beautiful.
Amazing. Hey, our skies are, I mean, our nature, the nature is just talking to us. If we, like, as you say, if we really listen and pay attention, then there's really a co-creation that starts to happen, you know. It's really beautiful. I mean, I've had devas coming out of the trees and just beautiful, amazing. Anyway. Okay, Lars, well, that's a beautiful summary of your work at the moment. And I'm glad that we sort of caught you right at the beginning, the inception point. So that maybe, you know, if maybe there's a way that we can creatively either collaborate or follow the journey, or if you need, you know, if you need a platform to just share on, or, you know, maybe some stories come out. It's quite nice to record them. So
yeah,
just
I'm happy to. I mean, there's more stories to share from the whole lot, you know. There's from what I've done so far, and for sure going forward there's going to be more.
Okay.
We are going to also, because another part of the directive was to kind of make a documentary. So it's all going to be in there as well. This documentary focused on the labyrinth.
Wonderful.
And then just kind of using this journey as part of the storytelling.
Gorgeous.
So yeah, that's going to be quite fun, interesting. I have no idea how
that's going to unfold. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big adventure.
There's such a wide field of things going on. I mean, it's just like the most extraordinary time we're living in. I mean, the expansiveness that is available to us.
You know what I would love to do with you, if you would like to, Amanda, is and your group, is after each one of the attunements to have a conversation. You know, once you guys have also been through the process, and then we can chat about it and see
that would
what
be
has
beautiful.
come up for you. Yeah, that would be an interesting thing for me too.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just wondering, you know, to get people to embody voice and sound, maybe they can, you know, watch the video and like make their own sounds and work with their own directions wherever they are. I mean, Joburg could do with that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely part of the invitation as well. I was just kind of told, like, just put it out, even though it's not in the perfect thing yet, you know. So now for the next one, then there's a little introduction that we're sticking on in front that says exactly that also, like, while you're moving through this process, feel free to open your voice, you know, like put the sound nice and loud so that you can,
I'll do that. And then maybe everyone can be standing on their roofs, you know, like going like
wear that color, you know.
A whole movement in Joburg and the skies and sounds. And
I mean, the next one is the Sun Star.
Yeah,
blowing that open, that was very interesting. The largest amount of resistance that I encountered in that process was opening the path from the sun star to the top of the head. And it was a very clear resistance to farther frequencies.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and once that was open, then it was so clear flowing through the body. Whereas from the Earth star, there was resistance inside the body in a few different points. Which, yeah. So, and then we're going to go into the labyrinth after that. And then, yeah, I really do invite you to, with, you know, when we enter into the yellow one, you know, the solar plexus, dress in yellow, you know, do yellow for a day or a week or whatever. You know, connect with the frequencies, open your voice, and then listen and follow your path through the week. And
sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. You can also work with the attunements more than once. You can listen them through more than once because they're globally aligned, so they stand outside of time. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't
Beautiful.
have to only do it once. So.
It's a nice opportunity to leave the house, try and find some space.
Yeah, anywhere. I mean, the crown in the Cape Peninsula, the crown is in the center of the city. It's in the city bowl, so that's where I went to go sing the crown.
Wow, you're kidding!
In the middle of town.
My God,
what I've found is that if you dress up, you put on a really nice dress, you know, and you go out, and then people think that you're doing a performance or something, and they don't bother you.
That's true. Live street.
Paint your face if you really, you know, put on a mask. It could be very helpful.
Beautiful. Okay, my beautiful friend, thank you so much for sharing your incredible work with us. So much. And we will be in touch, and we'll put your Patreon details at the bottom of the video, and we will encourage everybody to join in. And hopefully we've got some kind of magical, mystical, vocal alchemy happening all over the world.
Of course. Yeah, that's it. Let's open our voices now. The other ones, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Medicine Muse, and also if you like, there's a channel which I'm doing a broadcast channel for called Elysios, which has not only got the Crowning Series on, it's also has got lots of other interesting things too. Maybe even you'd like to come on board there.
Okay.
We're going multiple platforms, so we go onto all of the platforms we can.
And is Elysios tied to this cryptocurrency or this specific thing that you've created, your own money system?
Yeah, and exploring governance and trade and commerce, and in a decentralized fashion, and we're coming towards education as well.
That sounds beautiful. Very good. Okay, fabulous. Well, happy second crowning attunement. I know you've already done it, but for those that haven't and will be following along.
Yeah, the process continues for me as well. It's a hell of a lot to integrate.
Yeah, I'm sure. And as more people come on board, I'm sure you'll kind of be holding a bit of space for that as well.
Thank goodness. This is why the mountains, they're so clever. They said
they can do it all. Exactly.
The point is not for us to have to hold anything.
No, it's done. Exactly.
We're together.
They do it all. That's right.
We're together.
Yeah. Okay, lots of love. I think it's a good place to close. And Shailene, would you like to say anything? She's saying thank you very much. That's been a lot of listening, and thanks for being our little public. Shailene's a divine, beautiful person, absolutely stunning. All right, so blessings and for the new year that's coming, and we'll be in touch again soon.
You too, lots and lots of love. Thanks for this.
Okay, lots of love.
Good conversation.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao, Bella.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.